Welcome back to the exclusive Hot Kopics podcast on the Kop TV,
where we debate the most juicy and saucy hot topics that you can find.
So make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and make sure you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Very, very special day today. As you can see, James and I, how are you doing, brother, before we get into it?
Marvellous, G.
Good
Marvellous.
to see you. Looking very good as well.
Hey, not too bad yourself, my mate. Not too bad yourself. And obviously, we're coming in style, not just only in our club, but lads, have you seen the studio that we're in? It's absolutely amazing.
This is the thing, right? Kop TV OGs will realise that this is a big moment for the channel. We're in a proper,
it's emotional,
beautiful...
lad.
And do you know what? This is how exclusive it is. We're the first people to ever use the studio. It's, of course, the Liverpool podcast
Lads,
studios.
I've never used a mic like this before. Do you know the ones that stretch and they move and that? I've never used a mic like this before.
Now, bro.
Before I was there like that, I was there trying to do a boomerang on my Insta, right? I was there trying to do a little boomerang of Alex. If you go to my Insta, you'll see it. Either way, I've done it, and my ma's better at them than I am. So, lads, I was doing it wrong. I was putting it over there for too long, right? And I knocked the mic, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's there. It's not just that little mic that we use.
It's professional stuff now, man.
Proper stuff,
I mean,
mate.
we've always tried to be as professional as possible, but now we're in a belter studio, and of course, a new announcement. The Flux guys have partnered up with the Kop TV.
Look at this clobber, mate. I'm looking. I feel as sharp as a look.
No, you do look very good. Literally just put that on straight from the old pack, as you can see by the folds. But no, yeah, listen, man. Flux, the Liverpool-based company.
Yep.
They also sponsor Paddy the Baddies podcast. So if you've seen them, you'll know
get some
about
of the biggest
them.
Influences involved with the brand, mate.
Really
and honestly, when if they're creating clobber like this, then don't mind if I diddly too. You know what I mean? It's lovely. And on top of that as well, keep an eye out on some of the stores that they're going to be getting involved with in terms of Liverpool One and whatnot as well. Some big stuff coming your way, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, Flux arriving in L1 very soon. The official announcement will be there for that. But guys, link in the description. If you like the gear, go and get it. Come back and say that you came via us. And as you can see, summer gear, you got the shorts, t-shirts, the zip-ups. Bit too hot for a zip-up today. It genuinely is one of the nicest days on record, weather-wise, ever in Liverpool.
It's a surprise,
so Flux,
mate.
You're making us look good in the sunshine, in Liverpool, and it's a Liverpool-based company supporting the Hot Kopics podcast.
So
there you go.
Us,
before we get into the actual podcast, I know this is a long intro, but make sure that you make sure that you comment with your thoughts on the new studio, the Hot Kopics that we're going to be talking about in the episode, and subscribe not only to the Kop TV, but to this man's channel as well, James Redmond TV. Massive things happening with this fella this season, isn't there?
No, it's going to be a good season, lad, but I think it's going to be for all of us. I think it's going to be an exciting one, to be fair. You know, this is just the first step of many steps, and on top of that as well, we've got so much to look forward to. I have a good feeling it's going to be another sound season like last year, to where we're going to get to go on loads of journeys and whatnot. It's going to be exciting, mate, so make sure that you subscribe and get involved with the journey.
The stories of last season were unreal. Let's just try and create them again. But of course, right now it is pre-season time, Jay. It is that silly season. As you know, we are playing Manchester United in Bangkok tomorrow. I mean, it was nice playing them at Old Trafford, beating them 5-0. Nice playing them at Anfield, beating them 4-0 there. They haven't learned. They think, let's go to Southeast Asia, and get battered out there as well. In pre-season, but it's the first time we're going to see the likes of Fabio Carvalho, Nunes.
The new boys.
Can you wait for this one, bro? I can't wait. And we're going to be wearing the new away kit for this one as well, apparently.
Yeah, mate. Weirdly enough, as days go by and the longer that I go without seeing a Liverpool football match, it feels like I'm even more excited now, because it is different. It's probably the most different that the Liverpool squad's been. And obviously that changes season by season. But what I mean is that, the fact that even Mane's now going, we don't know what's going to happen with Bobby in the near future. And even though all that's sad, when you see the likes of Nunes and Carvalho and being linked with Bellingham, it does make you excited. And one thing that I'm looking forward to about this pre-season is just to see what some of the players can do. Let's have a look what they can actually show themselves. Even though United will be making changes, they'll be playing young players. We don't know what's going on with them and Ronaldo and stuff like that.
He's not on the trip. He's not travelled.
No, exactly. So we're not going to be facing the strongest Manchester United. So it's a good chance for us to see. Is it a good chance? Because sometimes pre-season can be a little bit misleading. Remember last season when we had Oxlade-Chamberlain and he was doing really well against like Athletic Bilbao and that, and we just thought,
we were at that game. We were at that game.
We were at all the pre-season games.
Yeah, we went to Osasuna. We played.
Osasuna.
That was very sunny.
I swear we drew that game as well, and I was still buzzing with Oxlade-Chamberlain's performance. But no, I just think it's a good chance to see some of the young players and get a little bit excited about who can step up to the plate this season.
Do you know what? Some of the the pictures that have come out of the training camp in Bangkok, I mean, obviously the players have just been on holiday. They all look mega tan.
Yeah.
They've got the vests on, not even the t-shirt. So the guns are out and everyone is there now. So the camp that was at Kirby before was excluding the guys that were in the Nations League. They had a bit more time off.
Yeah.
So to see the likes of Trent back, Salah back after signing a new deal, by the way. I mean, we've spoken about that topic, or the hot Kopic, I should say, so many times on this podcast.
I love the way you always have to correct yourself when you say
exactly,
topic.
because if we're going to say topic, we might as well just say hot Kopic. That's what the whole name of the podcast is.
So good.
But all these guys are back now, and the big guns are back. Virgil's there.
Yeah, man.
You know, Trent's back as well.
That's all it takes. Do you know if Mane leaves?
What a lift everyone's had.
When Mane leaves and I see nothing but fucking Instagram pictures and stories of Alphonso Davies stretching his legs and wishing, why can't both of those players be in my team, even though Alphonso would be, with all due respect, to back up in our squad.
Maybe even third
maybe,
left back, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Shimakash. Don't sleep on the Greek Scouser, mate.
Come on, the Scouse Greek.
But when you see Mane leave, but then you see a picture of Virgil in training, it just reminds you, like, oh no, we're sound. We've still got Alisson, we've still got Fabinho, we've still got Van Dijk, we've still got the spine, which is what wins you trophies and makes you come second place. And I know I've just kind of digged us in the backside there because we finished second place in 2 competitions last season.
Yeah.
But when you think about these new additions, the new hunger, you know, if Mane wanted to go, sound, he's done what he's needed to do for us. Now it's time for that new fresh blood. Now we've got the new fresh blood. I can't wait for Fabio Carvalho, you know, Alex, more than anyone. I think he's such a good silky player. I have a lot of faith in him. And I think him and Harvey Elliott this season, we're going to be seeing a massive step up from both of them. And I think we need to as well. And that's why I'm looking forward to this United game, because it's just going to be a good chance to see what they can do. And they'll be wanting to step up in this game, especially Fabio Carvalho. I say that, but especially Harvey Elliott as well, because he didn't get as many chances as he probably wanted last season.
Yeah, it's all very well going out and spending X amount on the best player, the biggest players in the world. But with Liverpool, what we have the ability to do is we can dip into that market.
Yeah.
Obviously, the best player in the world is probably a bit far away from us in terms of money. But you've seen us put 65, 85 mil down for Núñez. But the Fabio Carvalho thing interests me. And I wanted to ask you, if you could pick 3 players this season. Now, listen, we know that Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, they're going to have a great season. But I want to say 3 most improved players, or by the end of the season, when we look back, who are those 3 players that we go, do you know what?
Who's going to be so high in the squad pecking order that we're going to be surprised that they got that high in just one season?
So give me 3 players for this season. And again, at the end of the season, we can come back and see how right or wrong you were. But who are you most looking forward to?
I've got an alright taste
most
when it comes to choosing me players.
I don't know. Like you talk to me. Who are you excited to see?
I've predicted a few bombshells before, and that ends up being all right. Like, literally, Mane didn't even score against Hoffenheim. I called him the best player in the world that game because he had a good performance, and then he ended up winning every single trophy pretty much.
And I think his highest ever was 3rd in the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
So he was the 3rd best player in the world.
And Messi was chatting that he should have won the Ballon d'Or.
Exactly.
So listen, to all the Ronaldo fans, don't hate on me, hate on Lionel.
Let's get 3 more good predictions then.
Here's what I'll say. Fabio Carvalho was one to watch for sure. Harvey Elliott is another one that I'm excited about. And then, weirdly enough, I'm excited to see Calvin Ramsey, but I don't think he'll surprise, because he's not going to get above Trent.
Yeah.
I'll throw a little odd shout in there. Naby Keita.
Okay,
Naby Keita. Loads of Liverpool fans will disagree with me on that as well, which is fair enough. But I do think we've been waiting for him to be able to break into that first team and consistently play. And last season was a little bit better for him injury-wise. Now it's going to be a case of, can he solidify himself a spot in that first midfield 3? And I do think we're slowly but surely seeing Henderson have more of a Milner role where he's in and out sometimes, which is kind of what you need to do. He's not going to be in the team for 10 years, being the captain and playing week in, week out. That's just unrealistic. So you've got to start blooding in those new players, and Naby Keita was bought for a reason. There's a reason why we're talking about extending his contract. You see all Liverpool fans saying, hey, listen, if we're buying Núñez, even though I've only saw 1 good season of footy from him, I'm going to back the cause because it's Jurgen Klopp who bought him. But then you're forgetting Jurgen Klopp bought Naby Keita for 50 million. He was talking about how Thiago and Naby Keita,
him as well.
Thiago and Naby Keita would be the dream midfield that he could have, and now he's got it. So just because we haven't saw it from Keita yet, we're going to now go against Klopp's judgment of not utilising him enough. Well, guess what? He'd be gone if we didn't want him. There's a reason why Oxlade-Chamberlain has been moved more out the pitch yet, but people will remember that one good season from Oxlade in 17-18 and say, right, you deserve to play above Naby Keita. It makes no sense. And
well,
that's
Keita's rumoured to sign a new deal, so I don't think that's... I mean, again, it is going to split the fan base.
The thing is, no, you'll see the new deal being talked about, but you won't see, or you will see on social media, or Liverpool fans saying that they don't want to. They don't think that's a good idea per se. But for this season, I think it's about time that we see Naby Keita step up, and I hope he does, because if he does, then we've got ourselves a different option for midfield.
Do you know what? I counted up all the players that can play in that central three last night. There's 9 of them. And
did you put Harvey Elliott in there?
Harvey Elliott's there, Fabio Carvalho's there, because they both can play centrally. I agree with Carvalho. Cannot wait to see him. He literally, to me, looks like a reborn Coutinho, if I'm honest.
He has similar traits.
The traits that I'm looking at straight off the bat, and hopefully he gets 10 to 15 games this season. Harvey Elliott, again, is someone that will just keep developing. Yeah. Cut short, so horrible last season what happened to him with his injury, but came back, scored his first goal.
Number 19 now as well.
Number 19 as well, from 67 down to 19, which was Mane's number, which he wore as a fan. Mane 19 on the back as a kid 6-7 years ago, because he was a kid 6-7 years ago.
Still is a kid,
he still is a kid. But guess what I'm going to do?
Go ahead.
As my third name, Curtis Jones.
Wait, did you say that last season?
Potentially.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say you did, because I think we all was.
But
one last question. Did you say it the season before?
No, I wouldn't have said it the season before.
You would have, because it was the 1920 season where he scored that goal against Everton in the FA Cup, if I'm correct.
Yeah, no, it was January the 4th, 2020. So that was the first day of the Kop TV.
So then you've got the 2021 season, and then you've got the 21-22 season.
Which we've just had.
So for 2 seasons, since that Everton game, we've all been chatting up Curtis Jones. Let's not lie to ourselves. Why is this season the season?
This season is the season because he didn't leave last season.
Bro. Tis the season.
No, I think there was a lot of rumours last season that he would leave.
Yeah.
And the fact that he stayed, and that we haven't, to this point in mid-July, dipped into the market and bought another midfielder, I think there's a reason for that. And I think Klopp has maybe put an arm around him and said, listen, I know you got maybe 20 games last season, 10 starts, 10 sub appearances. I'm going to need you more. And listen, there's no doubt in the kid's quality. You can't.
No, he's got good technical ability, but the thing is, how many, Tarapt, Quaresma, all these players with great technical ability who never made it anywhere.
Tarapt and Quaresma.
Yeah, Tarapt and Quaresma.
Go on.
5-star skill
I
moves on FIFA.
I hear your point.
But Curtis Jones, good technical player, but can he put it together where it's going to be good enough to get into the midfield 3 of Liverpool Football Club?
So that's got to be the aim for him,
We're not talking
right?
about a Premier League midfield 3. We're talking about the top 2 best teams in the country. So is he better than Thiago, for instance? No, and he shouldn't be. He's only young. Is he going to get over Fabinho? No, because he's a more advanced player. And then is he going to get over Keita? That's the question that we should be asking ourselves. So I'm playing devil's avocado here. I'm not trying to say that I think Curtis Jones is shit. I respect it. But do you see him getting in above whoever else is competing for that midfield? Is he going to get above Hendo? Is he going to get above Keita?
It's a great question, and I think only time will tell, really.
Is he going to get above Harvey? Because, let's think about it from this perspective. Harvey will probably have more of a role in the front 3 only when Mohamed Salah isn't playing, which he plays week in, week out. He's got no AFCON to worry about next year, so he is probably going to play week in, week out. Therefore, there's not going to be much room for Harvey Elliott to play on that right wing, which means we're probably going to play him in the middle. Now, tell me if I'm connecting the wrong dots. We gave Harvey a new number, quite a substantial number as well, in the fact that it was Mane's first and stuff like that. It's a real bold move from the club to give a player a new number, because that just shows you're talking about signs of you're being pumped up the pecking order. You're now a member of the first team squad. That's what a lower number signifies, really. Even though I wouldn't have minded them staying 67. You know what I mean? Harvey 67, Strength 66. But either way, what I care about is getting the players that Klopp wants in that team, and I think he's got other priorities over Curtis.
Interesting. Let us know what you think in the comments, because Curtis Jones, from what I've seen, has really split the fan base. I think everyone agrees that the talent is there.
Defo.
For him, it's about timing. Can he is there maybe an injury that happens that allows him to get more games, and then once he's played those games, the other guy that got injured isn't getting back in the team? It's going to be really hard.
But guess what? That's the beauty of having some decent squad depth in midfield. It's the fact if such and such does go out, then that means Curtis Jones can come in as well. I don't think he's going to be our long-term option. I do hope he gets more games this season. However, let's just have a look, mate. Let's have a look.
Number 17 as well, which again, he got given that new number treatment from 48. Good knowledge, good shirt number knowledge. Down to 17, which is Gerrard's second number for Liverpool that he had. His first number was 28, which they've just given to Fabio Carvalho.
Do you know when Jude comes, give him number 8? Give Jude number 8.
Take it off Naby?
Yeah.
But number 10's there. No number 10, Jay. And that's an important number.
I don't know why we gave Naby the number 8, you know. I always think that.
Do you remember when he met Gerrard and Gerrard held the number 8 shirt of him? It was a bit like,
Thing is, he can score the odd banger as well, but he just hasn't done it enough. So wait there, Curtis Jones was one of your players. Who was the other two?
Let me choose two others then. Because if you've gone Fabio and Harvey, I guess I would have gone for them. But let me see.
Just any other out there shouts. Do you see Kanate playing week in, week out? Because even though he's playing a lot last season, Matip was still like, I can't split them, choice with Van Dijk.
I literally cannot split them.
I'd say Matip's still better. But Kanate's got a higher ceiling.
It's higher ceiling, yeah.
And he's better at different things, so he's more physical than Matip. If you want to put anyone in our team against Lukaku, shoulder for shoulder, Konate. You probably want it to be Konate.
Yeah.
And listen, if you put Van Dijk and Konate shoulder to shoulder,
that's a great shot.
I wouldn't be surprised that he beat him for that. So in terms of a presence, it's Konate, but in terms of the ball control, in terms of the passing ability, in terms of the on the ball work, which is very for the team that controls possession, is very important.
Yeah.
Matip's huge to that system, and I've been seeing a lot of rumours about how this season's the one for Konate. If I was the manager, I've been seeing Matip playing week in, week out, not getting injured. I wouldn't mind if he's playing week in, week
it's
out.
A good shout. Do you know what? I'm going to go with Curtis. I'm going to go with Lucho Diaz.
Yeah, man.
I think this is the season because we all saw the glimpses. And you know me, I'm his biggest fan. But I think now that Mane's left, he just has that position on lock. I think
he'll end up being better than Mane.
Wow, that's a massive shout.
Different players, but will he be better than Mane?
He's got to do it at the top for about six years for me to... He might have one season where he gets 30 goals and we'll go, wow, that's probably higher than what Mane got in one individual season. But we really, really, really can't, and I know you especially won't ever do this, but we really, really can't underestimate or misjudge how important, how good, how consistent Mane was for Liverpool. Diaz, for me, if he does impress us this season at a very high level, I think we are looking at another Mane. From what we've seen already, I think 6 or 7 goals, Champions League goals, FA Cup, Premier League. This guy can play on any pitch and any weather. He's just a natural-born South American fighter. Yeah,
well, remember that clip that we done outside of Jurgen's, right? And we were talking about Luis Diaz, and we were talking about like how he just loves footy and he just wants to kick a ball. He'll do unnecessary touches just to make the crowd go, ooh.
Get you off your seat.
No, he's one of those footballers that the kids are going to absolutely adore. The same way that you would adore Luis Suarez, because he brings that technical side to the game. And Mane had great technical ability, but he weren't doing those fancy touches. He weren't doing I know he's Colombian, but them Brazilian skill moves, so per se, that get you off your seat and remind you of the
samba stuff.
El Samba, you know?
Joga Bonito.
I don't even know what that means. You could just made me say anything.
But play beautiful, it means
play
in Portuguese.
Beautiful, and that's the way he plays.
Get on Duolingo, mate.
The Brazilian lingo is brilliant. Portuguese lingo, should I say. No, but Luis Diaz is this season is very interesting because I think if he gets, and because it's a numbers game
How
nowadays.
many goals? Goals and games, talk to me.
15 goals, 10 assists.
That's big.
That's a good season. That's a good season. But I think it's realistic.
25 goals.
It's realistic and it's a good season. It's a good return from a player that we bought for 40 million in what will be his first full season.
First full pre-season. I mean, let's just forget about the pre-season because I don't think that's an argument with Diaz. He's already shown us he can come in January and get on with it straight away.
Yeah.
But imagine him with a pre-season and imagine how he's linking up now with Darwin.
Yeah.
Again, who's a Spanish speaker. Do you know what? I'm going to go with Darwin. So I've gone Curtis Jones, Darwin, and Diaz, which is bold.
Well, that's my prediction for Diaz. The last point I'm going to make on Diaz before I ask you something else is, do you know when it comes to Luis Diaz, right? I think if he scores the same amount of goals and gets a similar amount of assists season out than Mane, I think people will class him as a better player than Mane. Especially if we go and achieve one more Premier League than what Mane did, or one more Champions League.
2 trophies he's won as well.
And he is a player who's used to winning trophies over his career with Porto, even with us, winning 2 trophies in literally not even a full season. So I'm intrigued by that. But what I was going to say about Núñez is that we just all sleeping on Diogo Jota. Are we just all sleeping? Everyone's forgot about him.
Wow, that's a great shout.
Bear in mind, Jota's still in his prime age where Liverpool want to go ahead and buy players. My man scored 20 plus goals. Sorry, again, 21. I'm not used to 20 plus goals last season.
21.
And on top of that as well, I think he got some decent amount of assists, but actually scored like with a variety of different shots. His head, his left foot, and his right foot. A ruthless finisher, so you can't just sit there.
No, that's
from a player that you bought for 45 million. And then just
I actually feel really bad about that I didn't say, or at least acknowledge his presence, you know?
But the thing is, though, like, is it such a bad thing if Jota is still the first choice for this season and then Núñez gradually builds himself into it?
No, it really isn't. How about this for a comparison? You know how important Emil Heskey was for Liverpool?
Yeah.
During
Shout out to Emil Heskey, lads.
Big up to Emil. He's been on the Kop TV before.
He follows me on Insta as well.
He does.
So he
follows me on. I've got his number.
He's
got his number.
Have you?
Try and get him on in the studio. But he was a kind of player who, for me, and again, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. He's the kind of player, the little golf one as well.
Yeah.
I could compare him to Diogo Jota in terms of he does the hard work that maybe goes a little bit unnoticed. I mean, Heskey was the foil to Owen. He allowed Owen to score all these amazing goals. In my opinion, Jota is almost the foil for a number of players in Diaz, Firmino, Salah, maybe even Núñez. And he is so important, bro. I think Heskey scored 20-odd goals in his best season.
Was sick, lads.
But no one was really chatting him up in that way that they should have been because we had Owen.
Yeah.
Whereas Jota is maybe in a band, he's not the lead singer. He's probably the drummer. Still very important.
Yeah.
But maybe does he get a little bit of, does he get forgotten about a little bit? I'm not saying I do, but
it's very, like, not that Sturridge was always appreciated at his peak, but when you talk about the greatest strikers that Liverpool has seen, you talk about Robbie Fowler, Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez, you probably don't put Sturridge in that top category, even though at the top of his game, he was a joke of a striker, a joke. So you probably put Jota by the time his Liverpool career ends in that category, because it seems like it's going that way. Because I can't believe we haven't even talked about Bobby Firmino yet, by the way, because I know that he's probably not going to play week in, week out this season. But there's so many fans that people still love him, still want to see him play. If that's the case, a man who's won everything at the club, literally like him and Milner came at a similar time, I believe. So when you look at him and Milner,
2015,
I think they came in the same season when Brendan Rodgers bought them. So he's gone through everything with the club, and just to think that Núñez is going to come in just because we bought him for 85 million or whatever it was over Jota and Firmino, I think that's crazy to me. I do. I think the only two people who've got the places nailed on is Salah and Diaz.
I'd agree. Do you think there's going to be a lot of switching in between Núñez, Firmino and Jota in that position?
The blessing of going for all 4 competitions.
Yeah.
The blessing.
5 subs.
5 subs. Oh, that's even better. This is what's making me a bit more confident about, like, winning some big stuff this season is the 5 subs. And I know that we're going to see Townsend all come out because he plays for little old Everton, so he's fuming. You know what I mean? He's never gone higher than Crystal Palace or Spurs' fucking reserves. But as we were saying before the show started, it's Jurgen Klopp, so the big angry German fella, you've got to listen to him and cater to his needs.
Beautiful man.
You've got to cater to his needs. I'm sure whoever came up with that decision, the Premier League and all that, I'm sure they were sitting there like what you said, and they were saying, oh no, we've got to make sure that we cater to this man right here. Fuck the 19 other managers. They don't want the 5 subs, but we need to make sure he's happy.
Because that's definitely what happened.
Because that's definitely what happened.
Andy?
I think it's Andy Townsend, but we'll call him. No, it's Andrew Townsend.
Is it Andrew? Am I going mad?
It's Andrew.
Is it Andrew?
It's defo Andrew.
Yeah.
It's defo Andrew.
The one who did the fake sue at Old Trafford.
He can score a belter. But he doesn't. I don't think he's opening his mind enough to the situation that 5 subs allows you to have. The reason why a team like Liverpool probably do benefit off 5 subs is that we can compete in a variety of different competitions. But at the same time, the reason why that's super necessary is because we're always talking about it. Quite ironic from a player who suffered with quite a few injuries in his career as well, by the way, because you literally play week in, week out. You're playing about 20 games in just December alone. Like, I'm not being funny or not. it is literally a case of you do need to give these players a rest, and that's what 5 subs exactly gives you. It really does. And when you're competing on all fronts, yes, the smaller teams might not have the squad depth, but you're playing 1 game a week most weeks. You're not playing 3, where you're in the League Cup, and then you're in the Prem, and then you're in the Champs, or whatever order you want to put that into. You need this for the top level players. Now, if you've got an issue with that, get yourself to the top level, and then next thing you know, you might be in the situation where, you know what, 5 subs isn't such a bad idea. But while you're at Everton competing for relegation, playing 1 game a week, and you've got no sight or any sort of path to going ahead and being in Europa League football anytime soon, please leave yourself out or leave yourself to be open-minded to it. Because sometimes you do need change, and I think 5 subs is definitely needed, because they're making more football matches. They're making more competitions. So you need to adapt to it.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, once you actually get in them teams who are playing week in, week out, you'll understand it more. We could look back in 2 years and say, wow, what a decision that was, by the way, to have 5 subs introduced.
Defo.
So, listen, I'm a fan of it. Let us know what you think in
and
the
it will benefit us. But they haven't done it just for us. They've done it for the top level of the game, because they want
to make it out like that.
Because they want more money, so they'll make more games between the big teams, and therefore you're going to need to make sure that they can actually play those games, and the star players.
You mentioned some of the signings under Rodgers 2015. One of them that we should remember.
Some decent signings, by the way.
One of them, I mean, listen, right now at the club, Milner's been there probably the longest time.
Chan weren't bad.
Chan
he weren't a bad signing.
But here's another one for you that's still there, and he's just signed a new deal. Joe Gomez.
Oh, shit, yeah.
2015, he joined Liverpool. 7 years.
Great
longest
business.
serving player, him, Milner and Firmino.
Great business.
And Henderson, obviously. Great business. But are you surprised with the fact that he signed a new deal? He was linked with Aston Villa.
I thought he was pretty much gone. Because really, when does he... Because he signed till 2027 as well. When does he get above Van Dijk? And when does he get above Kanate? That's the question I want to ask.
Here's the question to you, though. What side of the coin do you look at it? Is it showing massive ambition because he's saying, right, I'm going to really fight for this now. 5 years, I want to be back it. Because he was with Virgil.
He won a league title playing week in, week out, bro.
Let's not forget the fact 2018-19 when he joins Virgil as centre-back. Their record was genuinely unbelievable for the first half of that season.
Brilliant, and they complemented each other so well.
And they're so close as well. But then obviously the injuries happen. Matip finds this unbelievable form. We buy Kanate. So is it showing a massive sign of ambition that he says, right, for the next 5 years, I'm fighting with my life? Or is it the opposite? Does he say, well, actually, I'm probably only going to get about 20 games tops a year that won't be starts, a lot of them? Is he happy to sit on the bench? How do you see it?
I reckon we finally got a player like a Origi. He's just happy to be there. I do. And I'm not trying to question his ambition.
While, bro.
I'm not trying to question his ambition. It's just... Let's just say that the odds are stacked against him when it comes to getting back into that starting 11. I'm not trying... I'd say if you ordered the pecking order right now, he's 4th. Out of all our centre-backs, he's 4th.
4th, yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant, just specifically centre-backs.
Third
one thing that I'm going to say,
choice right back.
The one thing I'm going to say that's probably an unpopular opinion is that I think when you, besides his right back performances, I think his right back performances have been good. But any time that I've seen him at centre back from the start of the full COVID season, which was when we lost like 7-2 to Aston Villa, I thought he was like really, really bad in those few games, and then he got the injury. And I thought Nat Phillips played better than him. Yeah. So I'm not trying to say that he's worse than Nat, but Nat's actually done really well at getting us top 4, a big part of getting us top 4, then going to Bournemouth and playing week in, week out in a team that got promoted. He's a Premier League level centre-back, and so is Joe Gomez. But I just think Gomez is obviously above him in the pecking order, but I do still look at some of his centre-back performances without Van Dijk at times as well, and I do question it. But let's hope that this time of being injured and whatnot, and getting older just makes him grow and be a bit more.
He's got to be
smarter.
About 24, 25
24, 25. But this, you know, like when we sign a player, we want them to be around that age. Diaz was that age, Jota was that age. You know, people who are about to go into their prime.
Let's say he wasn't at Liverpool before and we just signed Joe Gomez on a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
Would you be excited?
Definitely.
So it basically is like a new signing, would you say?
In a way. It's hard to say that for someone who's won a Premier League with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really difficult, but...
Well, he's won everything.
What I'm going to say is, would he get into Arsenal's team? I think he would. think he's better than Ben
So
White.
here's one for you, right? So I was in the AFTV office a couple of weeks ago, and some of the opinions you hear in that office are dreadful. And I sometimes just have to put my AirPods in and just crack on with work because
Put the music
I
on
know
maximum.
that if I get involved, then the work's going out the window and I'm just having a debate. And one of the debates happened last week, right? And I'm really, now you've said this, I can't wait for your opinion on this, right? So I was in the office, Robbie comes in, just filmed a podcast with Julian, I think it was. And he goes, and all I can, you know what Robbie's like, he's a loud guy anyway. So he's coming upstairs and he goes, no, I'm telling you, Ben White and Gabriel are better than Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. And I was so triggered.
Ooh, it's just the fact he's put Joel Matip in there.
Yeah.
Because
So
the reason why I can somewhat understand Joe Gomez is because he hasn't been playing.
but
So
even still, I
you can
disagree
forget.
with
No,
that, bro.
I disagree. But he hasn't been playing, so you can understand why they're going to go off recency bias. But Matip was literally, top.
But Robbie
Five.
goes, well, Matip was better than Van Dijk last season. And so I said, so you've just defied your own logic. So that's Matip, not in the question.
So
then.
why is Van
So
Dijk?
the only one I can think of is Gomez. Now, again, let us know in the comments. Ben White, 50 million from Brighton.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
showed him up, if I'm honest. We've shown him up. We went to the Emirates twice and beat them. And Gabriel on his bum looking at us whilst we've scored.
No, Alex, let's...
Joe Gomez, for me, is better
come
than
on.
both of them.
We were having a go at Andy Towney for not being open-minded enough. So come on, let's try and take in the Don's points of what he's
Okay, let's
conducted
take
here,
in the
all right?
Don's
Yeah, let's
points.
take it in. Let me put it out on the table for you, all right? So they've got Gabriel and they've got Ben White and, you know, they finish 5th. And that's not a bad thing because it's progress.
From
you know,
8th, that's...
from 8th, progress, steps forwards and all that shite. You know, no, this isn't even a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm backing the fellow Arsenal fans who I've had a great history with. I'm trying to support them. And Robbie as well, legends in the game.
Big time.
So those two centre-backs are better than Josephine Gomez and Joel Matip as well. That's a fair enough opinion.
I don't think that is his name, Josephine, but we'll go with it.
We'll go with it. Brazilian Joe Gomez, you know what I mean?
Creative license.
He's got like one of those Brazilian second names in Gomez.
He does, yeah.
Here's the thing. Joe Gomez, who's won a Premier League with Virgil van Dijk at the back.
Champions League.
And the Champions League. But I mean, like, starting week in, week out,
yeah.
won a Premier League and he was starting next to Virgil van Dijk. Now, you made a point that Robbie said that Joel Matip was better than Virgil van Dijk last season. And somehow Gabriel and Ben White are still better than both of them. So if you've got Joe Gomez, who's the season that he played next to a player that was worse this season than Joel Matip, that means them finishing 5th, which is progress, is better than what Joe Gomez done, which was finish 1st with a points tally that was higher than their Invincibles tally.
So that's the logic I was looking for.
So that's just the first point. But no, this is to defend them. And then on top of that, Joel Matip, who's won everything at the club, and on top of that as well, signed for free, is much better on the ball than both of their centre-backs combined. And on top of that as well, has got a much better defensive outlook than both of those players. Oh, and Robbie said it. Played better than Van Dijk last season, in his opinion. Surely he's got logic when he comes to say the Ben White, 50 million Ben White, and the Gabriel, one of many Gabriels.
There's 4 Gabbies there at the club now.
Are better than those centre-backs. So I think we've just got to look at that and think, you know what, he might have a point.
You know what Robbie's like? He just didn't want to hear it.
He
He's
finished...
like, no, I'm telling you now. And I was going, yeah, but... And then, everything's getting forgotten about then. The laptop gets closed. The lunch gets thrown in the bin. It's like, no, Robbie, if you're really going to say that with chest, that you think Ben White and Gabriel are better. And then the guy who he was with was defending me. He was like, Robbie, come on. You know you're chatting rubbish. He is better.
He was doing that to wind you up. Defo.
No, but he believes these opinions.
No,
bro,
but they all
sometimes.
do though. They do it to each other. It's why comment sections are a terrible thing in today's era. Because guess what? You see one opinion of someone else, and it's a very natural human instinct to go ahead and be a sheep and follow that one comment because it's got the most likes in that comment section. But what Arsenal fans really fail to realise is they are so mediocre. They are so average.
The fans or the players?
The players.
Okay, yeah.
The players, I think the opinions at times are average, but I think that's every fan base. I think the team is so fucking average, and the way they hype them up that all these players are going to be the level of Man City and Liverpool, because they talk about all these young players. I don't think Saka gets to the level Mane ever did, or Salah, or... with all due respect, even Mahrez. And Mahrez is a great player, which is why I'm saying that. I don't think Saka gets there. I think Smith Rowe is top 6 in the Premier League at best. And when I say top 6, I mean 5th and 6th. I don't mean top 4. Right? I look, the only one who I see in that 11 with any proper quality who could go to another level in the next few years is Odegaard. I rate Tierney as a solid left back.
Injured all the time though.
But I think Ramsdale is the most overrated goalkeeper in the Premier League. For instance, I think he's the most camera saving goalkeeper that you're probably ever going to see. He's even beat De Gea for that award. And on top of that as well, when you just look at Tommy Asu at right back, sound. Centre backs, Gabriel, Ben White, sound. Martinelli, good player.
Potential
good player.
to go
Still need
really
to see more.
to the next level.
Still need to see more.
Jesus, you have to say, because
I think
he's won 4
Martinelli's
leagues
got-
with City. You have to have him in there.
I feel like people are overrating him a bit, but
We'll see. But his debate that we were talking about, the centre-backs debate, let's see, Robbie. Let's see who has the best season. Do you know what I mean? Because if you said
it doesn't.
this last
It doesn't
time,
change the logic, because Jurgen
logic.
Klopp has had multiple years to get this team playing the way he wants to play it, so it doesn't matter about this season.
doesn't change the logic.
Ben White
for
and
me,
Gabriel are still only 24, 25, so they've got time.
as is Gomez, and look who's done the most in their career.
But
I
it's
think
because Gomez has
is
been
clear.
doing this since he was fucking 18. He's
True.
been doing this.
And again,
if
this is
Ben
what
White
Robbie
and
needs to
Gabriel are only
understand.
just coming onto the scene now to be supposedly better than Joe Gomez at the fucking age of 23 or 24, just let me remind you, Joe Gomez been doing this.
Yeah.
In his development stage, my man was winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. That's
And
how
Robbie
it was.
said, yeah, but Gabriel scored 6 goals, the most for a centre-back last season.
So, okay, so hang on a minute. When I make an argument about Trent being so good going forward, but his defensive work isn't good enough.
There
So
you
go on. So now it's about
Can't have
goals.
it both ways.
So now it's about goals.
Exactly. Let us know in the comments, who do you agree with? Is it me and Jay, or is it Don Robbie? Let us know in the comments. That was just one opinion that I picked up from the studio the other day. Right, just to finish us off on what has been a great debut episode in the new studio here in Liverpool. Jordan Henderson, our captain. A great documentary just made about him by Lawrence from True Geordie.
Smash that documentary.
Really great documentary, and you almost heard from every single player, and it was a really beautiful thing. And it got
What was the lad? Who's the lad? This isn't me being disrespectful, by the way, because I don't watch them as much as I should, because they seem great at what they do. The lad off Anfield Rap, the one with the like curly hair type thing.
Gibbo.
It might be Gibbo.
Neil or
Again, I'm not
Gibbo?
trying to be disrespectful
Neil
there
or
in any
Gibbo.
way.
It's one of them two.
But what I wanted...
Good lads, though.
He said at the end, that I think Lawrence asked him, he was like, so if you were like someone who meant something to Jordan Henderson, you know, what would you say to him when his career's said and done? And he just went, you did well.
And he said,
You did
turn
well.
the cameras off.
He was like, you did well. Because that's all you need to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all you can ever do.
Now.
Honestly, do you know when I saw that, I
this
nearly
kid.
went for it, lads. I did.
Seriously, bro.
And honestly, that was such a great little moment, because Jordan Henderson, he might not be a Scouser, but he optimises what the Scouse believes in, you know, working hard and getting into the position where no matter what odds were stacked against you, you still went ahead and won everything.
Yeah.
So do you know when people say Jordan Henderson's average and the team carried him?
No.
Fucking hell, what? No. But
No
even if
way.
they were right, fucking hell, what a shit player and what a good career. Like,
But listen, people were gutted to hear Thiago come out and say he's one of the best players I've ever played with.
but the thing is, though, you see, this is what people don't look into context. Like, I know people who like technical sides of things and will disclude everything else. I know people who just look at numbers and will disclude everything else. What they don't do and what they don't take into consideration is the absolute madness that can actually go ahead when you see these things all unfold and whatnot as well.
Definitely.
And it's honestly unbelievable. It's just like an unbelievable situation.
So no, amazing documentary, big up to Lawrence. But the latest news on Hendo is that he did get an MBE for his services to football. Again, split opinion, because you know how...
Deserved. He's done a
Of
lot
course
of work.
it's deserved, but you've obviously got the other side of the coin of people that say, well, how is he accepting that off the royal family, etc., etc.
See, no, that's fair. It's just, you know, when Rashford took it, it weren't an issue. Obviously, there's a bit of a difference because we're all from Liverpool and whatever it may be, and people have a right for that, but to him, it's an award for all the hard work that he's done. It's not more than that, you know what I mean? It's an award for the charity work that he does. Are we just going to have a go at a fella for doing charity now because he's being given some awards off?
Whatever you think of it, it's a sign of how well he's done in his career. Listen,
Like, for instance, I wouldn't care if I won an MBE. I
would
wouldn't
you
give
accept it?
Probably not. Probably not. Just because
There was
it's
a
not
player
me.
that
It's
didn't
not me.
accept it. I think, was it maybe John Barnes or someone like that who said, I don't want it. Like, Gerrard's got one. Gerrard's got an MBE.
But that's the thing. I don't think it's a
06.
bad thing to take one, because it's literally just a little fucking thing, a little metal thing to say, well done for the work that you've been doing. Like, you're benefiting the country.
It's like getting a gold star in school, but on a lot bigger scale.
But like, who cares? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
you're
I've got
actually...
five
is it a
gold
member of the
stars.
British Empire, MBE?
I'm not asked. If you tell me at the end of the week, oh, you've got the most gold stars, get me a scran.
There you go. Instead of MBEs, just do scrans instead. Nabsies.
Hey, listen, I'll take
Something
that.
like
Little Uber vouchers and all this type of stuff.
There you go. That if you ever do get into the equation where you are being touted around for an MBE,
I don't think that they'll give me one now after that clip.
Doesn't care.
Yeah,
probably not. Yeah, probably not.
And do you know when I have my speech, I'm gonna say the first thing I want to thank is absolutely no one, because I'm not asked about this. I don't care about being here.
Well, if you're not asked, we'll have it back.
And what I'll say is, by the way, this is going on auction on eBay
to raise money for kids.
To raise money for the charities
so
that I've been helping out.
If you don't like that, then you're a monster.
Yeah.
Basically.
Now I'm going to continue to go away and do charity work and not to win silverware for it.
There you go. To be fair, he's got enough silverware. If we're being
He
honest,
has got enough silverware.
Got a lot of silverware in his
No,
house.
I'm actually happy for Henderson now, in conclusion.
Big up to Hendo. I love you. I will never have any person ever say a bad word about Jordan Brian Henderson. I love that man to death. I really do.
Greatest captain the Prem's ever seen.
Potentially, let us know if you agree with that. Right, there you go. The first episode, Jay, in the new studio. How'd you feel?
Boss, lad. Boss, I really enjoyed that. That was well better than like doing it over the StreamYard and whatnot.
Absolutely. So. We're physical, we're here.
Lovely
of course, sponsored by Flux, the Liverpool-based streetwear, gymwear, activewear clothing company. If you walk around the streets of Liverpool right now, you will see a lot of people wearing Flux. They're about to join a massive shop in L1. They're obviously supporting the Hot Kopics podcast. They work with Paddy the Baddie and loads more. So make sure you do click the link in the description and get involved.
Click that link as well, because that's showing that it's us who's supporting them. So you supporting them is also supporting us, and they support us as well. So honestly, thank you a lot for them, but nice one for the club as well, because I felt so comfortable this show. It's been boss. And
of course, massive big up to the Liverpool Podcast Studios, the best. And
unbelievable, mate.
The best.
I was just expecting one little room and it'd be sound,
and
few lights,
would be going,
few lights. Everyone's having a joint or something in the background. You know what I mean? And everyone's just relaxing. But you know what, mate? Proper professional, lovely, fresh.
Got a great entry from Jacob as well.
Comfy couches.
Comfy. Wrong colour, if I'm honest.
But do you know what? We're not going to complain.
No,
we're not going to complain.
You can't please them all, Jacob. You know that. Got the Jurgen there. But guys, please press the like button. It really helps us. Comment with your thoughts on today's Hot Kopics. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Hasta la vista.